Alright, so as some of us know, of course, the Super Bowl took place a couple of days ago now. The Super Bowl is one of the biggest American football events of the year, and with the Super Bowl you get a bunch of commercials, and with those commercials you get car commercials, and this is where I come into play. So I'm going to be analyzing some of the car commercials that have come out, and most of these commercials happen to be EV related. But of course, before we keep going, if you guys are new here, like this video, subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell, of course, so you guys can be up to speed on the latest videos coming out when they come out. Without further ado, let's start up the video. So one of the first commercials I saw was actually one with GM and Netflix. They're going to be putting a lot more electric vehicles in television shows. But we'll start off with the first car in this video, the GMC Denali. So of course, I've said this a billion times on this channel if you guys aren't familiar, GM is going to be going fully electric, and one of the first vehicles that they're going to be releasing is the GMC Electric Denali. You get a few shots of the interior of the vehicle, but largely the exterior, and naturally that transitions to the next part of this commercial where they're talking about a vehicle which I'm not quite familiar about, but of course you can tell the Squid Games theme is one that's being used here. I've never watched the TV show, I've heard it's really good, but again, we're probably going to find out more about that specific vehicle because I can't quite tell what it is. I couldn't quite see a logo, or I've never seen any vehicle that looks like that on the market. And following up with that, again, I really don't watch many TV shows, but this is some formal TV show, I'm guessing. However, if you look closely enough in the background of that, you can see the Cadillac Lyric. And this is actually a pretty interesting story because apparently in TV shows and music videos, more so in music videos, this car brand, Cadillac that is one of the most quoted cars ever. And of course, to keep it going, we have the Stranger Things theme, in which case in the background, of course, you can see what looks like a Chevy Silverado, again, electric Chevy Silverado. And then last but not least, we have the Hummer EV. I've made quite a few videos on the Hummer EV, so I won't really touch much on it, but we know like it has some pretty cool features like the sideways crab walk where it goes from side to side instead of just front and back like any regular vehicle. You find some mixed reviews because a lot of these cars actually aren't produced just yet. Them coming out with this commercial, it gives people an idea of the general path in which GM is going to be going towards. However, a lot of these cars, dare I say all of these cars, aren't even production models yet. And if you're talking about somebody who wants an electric vehicle right now, you can't even buy any of these GM vehicles. So that's one complaint that a lot of people are having. So in a weird way, this ad might backfire because people are going to be like, you know what, I really want an electric vehicle, but they're not available right now. So maybe I'll go buy a Tesla, or maybe I'll go buy a Rivian, or whatever electric vehicle is already on the market right now. But again, this is definitely something to stay tuned for with GM because I'm curious to see how the market generally takes to these electric vehicles. Moving on to the next car, we're going to be talking about the Ram. In this case, it's actually rather interesting because they use a play on words, and the name of the ad is called Premature Electrification. So essentially it talks about the fears that people have when getting into electric vehicles. Again, I can talk about it, but I'll just show you here what it looks like.
Premature electrification. Symptoms may include fearing you might not be able to last as long as you'd like.
There was plenty of charge before, and sometimes it goes away.
Having to stop every time we got really excited, that wouldn't work for me.
PE, premature electrification, is something you're worried about. Go to ramrev.com and find out if the Ram 1500 Rev, with options being designed to extend range in satisfying ways, is right for you.
In this case, it has a little bit of humor. However, it also has some details on the expectations people have when they're planning on buying an EV, and essentially ways to be able to deal with that fear and not have to be worried about buying an electric vehicle. Moving to the next one, we're going to be talking about Jeep. In this case, they went more of the route where going electric is good for nature, is good for animals, and with this vehicle, it shows the kind of terrain that it's good on. And interestingly enough, we might maybe be getting some Jeep electric charging stations. Now, maybe this is just for the commercial, or maybe on the other hand, it could be some foreshadowing of what to expect. And so for this one, this is the Kia Telluride. In this case, it's not an electric vehicle. However, in the case of the Telluride, of course, it shows that it can go through off-road terrain. It can go on highways. Also, you can take this car on jumps, and apparently it's not going to ruin the suspension. Now, that's probably not something I suggest. There's probably some fine print somewhere where they're like, we're not liable if anything happens to your car. However, interestingly enough, I thought it was a fun, like, family type video, and it gives you a general idea of what to expect with this Kia Telluride. But I have to say, one of the most interesting videos is the one for Tesla. And in this case, it's talking about the lack of efficiency that Tesla self-driving has. Maybe this guy's a hater, maybe he's just like an enemy of Elon Musk and he's like, I'm gonna take you down. However, funnily enough, this might actually backfire, because as much as a lot of people know about Tesla and the self-driving capabilities, a lot of people actually don't. And funnily enough, there is a saying that says, any publicity is good publicity. Now, in the case of this anti-Tesla ad, I think that it's actually going to do more to help Tesla than it's going to hurt Tesla. All those people who didn't know about Tesla and the self-driving capabilities are going to be like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me there's cars out here that can actually drive themselves? And then they're going to start doing their research and find out that, of course, it has its problems and it has its flaws because it's new technology, but it also makes your driving experience significantly easier. So let me know what you guys think about these vehicles. Is there one that's your particular favorite? Is there one that you really aren't too big of a fan of? I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.